Okay, thank you for joining me today. My name is John Aguilar. I'm the founder of Ligna. This has been a very interesting past 2 days, to say the least. I'll give you a little information about the history of Ligna, and there's been a lot of great questions about how we started, what we've been doing, why there's not a lot of information about you on the internet. I think those are really important things to cover and understand that, the reason behind that. And then two, I'll talk about some of the stuff that's been asked over and over and over again, not just on the Q&A section, but also in chat in the back end from new users that have signed up. And then I'll open it up for Q&A. So, any questions that you want to ask for the time that we have, I'll try to answer as much as we can. And again, I'm also recording this, so I'll publish this online. So just a little history about me. I've been doing this for 16 years, or 17 years actually. And, I've been in digital marketing for a very long time, specialized in SEO, content marketing, obviously not writing the content, but marketing it, backlinks, all the stuff that you ever need to do. And I moved into distribution channels. So manufacturers that sell through resellers, franchises, agent-based organizations. And I learned something really powerful, that all these local entities and how we market for them, you need repeatability to have better profit margins. So I started developing technology. I've always been a developer, and I started building tools, marketing tools, building marketing agencies. And as I sold those off and exited from those companies, I realized that there wasn't a real, and there are, there's tons of platforms. We are not the only one that does this, but I don't think there is a real platform that is uber focused on agencies that want to protect their brand and contribute to a platform that's truly going to bring them scalability and efficiency and lower their costs for subscriptions. And so I've taken everything that I've learned over the last 16 years. My family's in this business. They've learned a lot. They have so much to contribute to what we've experienced. And so we went to the drawing table and said, what would be the best application, not only for us, but also for other agencies? So we built Ligna. Ligna, again, initially is for agencies, but as you really understand how agencies use it, it's really designed for any business owner, right? Because all these agencies have business owners that are using the tech. Yes, there's a lot of pieces to the platform that are geared for marketing agencies, but overall, a lot of the functions are for business owners. So if you're an entrepreneur or business owner and you're watching this or interested, there's a ton of features that will help you, right? But it is geared for the agency because of our model. We're a full-blown white label digital marketing provider. So as an agency comes in, one of the toughest things that they have is scaling. How do they duplicate themselves? I've dealt with it for many, many years. I was always doing so much of the work, and it was ridiculous. If I can get in front of the client and manage that experience without having to do the work, I could scale. And unfortunately, having resources that you bring in, you invest in one resource that turns out to not be as good as you thought, that can crush you as an agency who's just starting out or has 15, 20 accounts, right? So our model is we already know how to use the technology. We're experts in it. We've been doing digital marketing services for a long time, and we're able to offer augmented marketing service as extension to your agency. But much like any other white label provider, especially if you white labeled other technology, it's really easy to see that you didn't develop that technology. One thing that I teach agencies is like, if you invest in tech and show that to your client, your MRR is going to be much greater because they believe that you're investing in their success. And so that creates a loyalty factor that's unmeasurable. And so having this ability to present that, hey, we're investing in technology to better you and give you more visibility in what we do, pays dividends. And unfortunately, with a lot of white label providers, that tech is very easy to see that you didn't develop it. So we go over and beyond to protect your brand. That's why there's not a whole lot about Ligna. Matter of fact, people ask, why don't we have a LinkedIn page? Why don't we have these things? I get on calls for you as your sales engineer. I've been brought down to just being a sales rep because I've been over backwards to ensure that when you understand some of our products are over and beyond, and some of the features like our multi-site technology, our NearMe technology, and how to leverage, which I'll show you a little bit of that today, how to leverage in your opportunities when you talk to additional clients. Those types of deals are very, very sticky and extremely valuable. However, those solutions are tribal knowledge to us. And so I help with you on those. So I can't be an extension of your team if you can easily Google me and find out that I don't work for your company. So we try to limit our exposure. I think after AppSumo, I'm going to change a little bit of that because I do want to create, obviously we're creating a Facebook page today, and I do want to spend more time because I love the responses. I love everything that's coming in here. So I'll be less of that resource on the sales side of it. But we go over and beyond to try to protect your brand from the white label aspect to the domain that sits on your site, to the app that you authenticate, all the way down to I need to add a Facebook authentication. There is no Ligna, right? We don't want anybody to know about Ligna unless you're using Ligna as a top level admin. We don't want your clients to ever see that. We go over and beyond. So that's why there's limited information. However, if you want to ever talk to anybody I've ever worked with, talk to old business, sold partners, whatever, happy to do that. We are real people, a real company. I've been doing this a long time, so I hope that satisfies the requests out there as far as who we are and what we do. Let me move into some of the questions that are commonly asked. What does unlimited mean as a user standpoint? And if I buy one code and only have 5 users or 15 users, can I manage all my clients? So one of the things in our platform called Workspaces, those workspaces are designed to organize all your digital assets because you can build so much in our platform. It gets confusing, especially if your business has 3 different categories. And I use this example all the time, but if you're in the insurance industry, you may sell 5 different insurance products, right? That have very different messaging and different audiences you're targeting. And so you're going to create all these cadences and sequences and emails and phone lines and templates and everything else that you put into it times 5, it gets really confusing. So Workspaces, you can design or create and assign all those assets to the same workspace or different workspaces. And so when you're in that workspace, you're only seeing those assets. That same concept can work for clients. So if you sign up for one code, you can have as many clients as you want in the platform. They don't have a login. So if you want your clients to have a dashboard, if you want your clients to use the CRM, if you want your clients to have access to reporting and things like that, you would then need to use one of your user license for that. But if you're just building websites for them, setting up marketing automation, using our pixels to collect data, setting up call forwarding lines for tracking and doing our SERP ranking reports, just know where they're ranking on Google, and providing that to actually do efforts for your clients, you can create them all in Workspaces unlimited. You don't have to set them up as users for that. So I hope that addresses that. The VoIP system, it's unlimited inbound calling and unlimited outbound calling. I'm going to show you how easy that is back here. So it's unlimited there. There is limits on text message, obviously, because there's a real hard cost that's expensive with that. Plus, there's a lot of regulations on it that we have to adhere to. So there's a limit to it. However, if you reach that limit on the unlimited plan, we will sell you blocks. It's cost effective. The pricing changes all the time, especially changes based on where you're sending it and things like that. But it's very, very cheap. I express that. You can get on chat and I'll give you the exact pricing on that, but it's very, very cheap. The phone lines on the unlimited plan, you get 75 phone lines. So you can use that across your entire inventory. So that's inventory for you. So if if you have users in your account and you have limits, those limits are associated with all of your users. So it's not per user, it's every user is associated with it. So it's basically an inventory that you can share amongst all of your users. So you may have some users have 1 phone line, and you may have some users have 10 phone lines. Well, you have 11 phone lines that are used now, right? So if you hit 75 on the unlimited plan, then you can upgrade to as many numbers you want. We sell them for $2 a month per line with unlimited minutes. So it's not a profit center for us. Our profit center, again, for us, we do so much more than this technology, and your contribution to this technology is going to pay dividends for everybody. And whether you use our marketing services or not, great. If you do, you'll see how different we are and how transparent we are as far as how we use those services. And you see our project system and we do everything in there. That's our upside. So this is not a profitable venture for us, obviously. But anyways, there's not unlimited phone lines. There's a cap there, not unlimited text message, not unlimited email, but there is unlimited users. So you can create as many users as you want. Another question is, how white label is this for my users? this is really powerful when you start looking at this. You can create parent accounts that are white label accounts that are the same as you, that you're connected to, that can have unlimited. If you're on the unlimited plan, they can also have unlimited users. You can then create your own packages, right? So if you go to a business that has 500 users, right? I mean, at that point, you can sell them a CRM platform, a marketing automation platform. You can charge whatever you want. The beauty of that is once you brand the system as yourself, every parent account you create inherits your brand. So we no longer exist. So every time you create a parent account who then wants to create child accounts, that's your brand, not our brand. Continues on for you. So we have many white label partners who use our white label marketing services that create a white label program that's bringing on other agencies that are white label in their product. That happens all day long. And we protect that model over and over and over again. No, they'll have to address it if the marketing agency, obviously sees us now. But either way, you can do that, right? There's a lot of things that you are able to do and protect on that white label level. Phone capabilities internationally. You can place international phone calls with US numbers. Let me give you a little history of that. Our system went live last year, 100% US focus. I actually own an agency in Mexico and have partners in Mexico, Spain, and France. And we're actively trying to build this system internationally. However, the time that I spent building this was focused on US. So from currency to the click to call, and also when obviously your user profile is not set up for international yet, but everything else works as you would in any country other than the language. And of course, you can in your browser change the language yourself and work in the platform just fine. It's just the call side of it. We have access to numbers in a lot of countries. Some of them have voice, some of them have SMS, some of them have both. Don't make a decision to buy this AppSumo deal thinking you're going to come in and you're in a different country and you're automatically going to have these numbers. Please check before. If the phone system is just a small piece of the whole platform, and you're cool with that, it doesn't matter, right? You can change the language that's in the platform. We're rushing for changing the time zone and also the address updates for you on different elements of it. And I promise to get that done by Monday, especially for Australia, UK, and or before the end of this app. I say that I got the time zone before Monday, before this deal. But if you're from the UK, if you're from Australia, if you're from Canada, we can get SMS lines, we can get VoIP lines, we can get those lines. We just have to manually install them into your platform for you. You can't search for numbers, only US numbers, and order them directly through our platform today. But we're working on that to fix that and support international. So I know there's been a lot of questions about that. The SMTP side of things. So there's a lot of questions around, do I have to use your SMTP system, or if I hit my limits, can I bring any SMTP server in? Absolutely. The way that our system is designed, you can create unlimited SMTP accounts and segment your cadences, your email campaigns based on those SMTP accounts. So that's really smart if you're doing, which I don't recommend doing, but if you're doing warming up lists or things like that, your hygiene is your hygiene, which we do have restrictions there as well. I just want to let you know that. But we're sales driven and we have all the compliance of opt-in and stuff like that. And, we want to ensure that you're using the system properly. And obviously when you're using your own SMTP stuff, you're at your own risk of what you do in the platform, but you can create as many SMTP servers and relays and rotate them that you want within the platform. I know that some users, every campaign, they use a different one. So I know that's been asked a lot. The site system, so I'll move to the CMS. So I want to stress this. If you've been using Wix or Squarespace or all these, I guess, built for beginner users to come in and just create a template, start from a template and launch a website. We're not there yet. Next month, that we're going to have a ton of templates that you'll be able to do that with. Funnels that we've already created with different steps that are already built in. What you're getting when you come into our CMS, there's two themes. One, the Ligna theme, which is called Sassy, and then I forget the other name of it. It was just a theme that's in there. It's a beautiful theme. You can build off of that. It's really easy to build off of that. But we also have a blank canvas that you're able to import your own site. The import process to import any website, any flow in our platform is so simple that we'll actually do one for you. We'll put that in there in your back office. And now you have a template that you can use over and over and over again. Plus, it helps you learn our CMS by doing that. It's really easy and you have full control. The best thing about that is now you have a template that can be used in so many different ways. I'm going to jump to sharing my screen. And I want to talk about the NearMe sites and the usage behind these templates. And then I'll move into some other questions, but I actually have to show my screen for this one. And I gotta find it. Apologize, I have so many windows open, it's absolutely ridiculous. Goodness gracious. Okay, that's back in. I'll come back to that. So NearMe Technology, template platform. So there's a lot of different usage behind this. When you create a website or anything within our platform, you have the option of reusing it based on user roles. So if you have a bunch of different users and you segment different user roles for them, and you give them access to your funnels, your websites, your content, your templates, or whatever, they have access to it, but it's wherever you started from, and they can make changes to that individually. What's great about it is the system knows what changes they have made and what changes they haven't done to the master asset. So when you make a change to the master asset, all those things are updated. You can create unlimited tags, personalization tags for their profile. So an example would be, I have a bunch of real estate agents and I want to build a really awesome profile website for them that has their profile picture, their own quote messaging system, their own data forms for collection leads, their own MLS feed on there. You name it, all those custom tags are personalization, especially MLS, right? If you, in your design, you have an iframe of your MLS that has a user ID associated with it, you put a tag for the profile name in their profile. When you onboard that person, all they have to do is go to the profile and put their ID in there. And now their website, their version of that site is personalized, such as their logo or contact information. That's one usage of using our CMS as a template. We help you with that. We help you get all set up with that so you have a base site to use for that example. NearMe Technology, which several have asked, is the ability to deploy hyperlocal websites or dedicated websites to specific markets. This is really good if you're an agency owner or even a business owner. When you look at it, everyone searches local. But if you want to add a very attractive edge to your agency and be able to offer something that others don't really understand the concept simply because of the fact that everyone's been scared of duplicate content, which, you'll hear my take on that. It's really not a penalty. It's essentially just weeding out duplicate content. Well, if you focus local in each of those markets, you're not duplicate, right? And once you wrap around that, and we prove it over and over and over again, and been doing it for 16 years and nothing has ever changed. Think of service area pages that a lot of SEO companies do for different websites. This is an example of deploying dedicated websites for all your long tail keywords, all your services, all your solutions, everything into a single, a full-blown site that's deployed locally. So you can see this is a Houston site. As you drill down, this is an Austin site. It's all on folders. You have a corporate site. I mean, this is like the ability to deploy individual sites in all your markets. So you can use our template CMS for that to deploy hyperlocal websites. You can also template size as you come in. So for example, here's a template, a theme that you can create in your backend. So multiple themes, you have users that come in. So there's a couple of use cases. If I'm an agency, and I apologize to everyone that's business owner, entrepreneur out here that's not an agency, this is the same concept for you, right? If you sell nationwide, you should be focusing in 36,000 markets across the United States because they generate a local result. Our technology will help you do that. Or if you're a business owner that has a service area, it's unrealistic that you're going to rank in Google My Business for all those cities, right? So you need dedicated real estate on the internet for those specific cities. That's what our NearMe technology allows you to do. So this does apply to you. But as somebody who has multiple users or an agency or a network of users, you can create multiple themes, right? So theme 1, theme 2, actually, let me go back to the homepage for that. Theme 2, theme 3. So this is unique to you. Your designer built it, we built it, you built it yourself, whatever. This is unique to you. It's 100% your asset. Now you want to give it to somebody else. You add a role and an onboarding link, and this is actually comes in. You're able to build sites really, really fast. So this is an example of a site that's running off of one of these themes. So how quickly can a salesperson can customize this website with our CMS? They don't have to, to start from scratch. Yes, you have to be a little bit more of an advanced user, and we help you go through all that to get set up. We'll even do it for you for costs that you won't believe. And we'll also import your first one for free, obviously. I already said that. But as a salesperson, there's a lot of strategies around what can I offer free to my clients to get them in the door, such as Google My Business. We have a lot of different things that you can do. But one is like a sales guy can come in here, throw a logo about that business, already have the website built and optimized on a local market, and say, hey, I built you a brand new website, right? We want to earn your business. There's ways that you can use that for. Or if you're an agency that's creating multiple websites for the same industry, you may have 5, kick-ass designs that work really well and the funnels are awesome. Well, as an agency, you're not building 6, 7, and 8. You're taking one and slicing it between the 5 of them and creating that for that client. This allows you to start from that one, swap out the logo, color scheme, change the CSS, whatever, to personalize as much as you can. But now you're building high quality websites in a fraction of the time. So your margin is just ridiculous. We're able to take this and deploy this to additional clients, branding, style, color scheme to the customer. They're getting a massively high quality website with tons of content at a fraction of the cost. And it only took us 10 minutes, 15 minutes to build this website for this client. And then as you get more clients in the same city, you build it. So there's a lot of stuff there that we help you with to understand how to use the multi-site system or the NearMe technology or whatever you want to call it. It's yours, you can call it whatever you want. We also have content syndication that is plugged into social media. And so as you connect social media to all of your users and their individual websites and blogs, when you publish content, you can publish content through our content syndication to every single blog. So for instance, this blog went out on January 21st, vacation safety tips for homeowners, optimized for their personalized city. Now you're looking at the same one on this other blog that's associated here, personalized for their city. Again, not duplicate because it's targeting that specific city, the wrapper around the brand, the identity to that local business owner. They're never going to generate this much content. Of course, you can add unique content at any moment you want, but that content syndication component, it's like, if I'm going to share content on someone's Facebook page about how vacation safety tips for homeowners and their security company 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's relevant for all of their markets, and they're in different markets. So it's just a tool that allows you to mass market a distribution channel. Or in compliance side of it, you have real estate agents, mortgage companies. You can't have them out there freewheeling, posting all this stuff. You got to be able to control that. So as a marketing manager, you want to be able to deploy marketing content to their individual sites and have that content published direct. Another example, by the way, we didn't design this version of this site. I know a lot of people were like, well, this site could look a lot better. We're actually in the process of redesigning this site for the agency on the back end. We just imported this. So if you have any feedback about the site, we don't like it either. But the functionality behind it and the flow of it is exactly what you should do if you're a mortgage company or you have an agent-based organization. You have a homepage, corporate site, you're focusing on national SEO. You want to break down on a local level so you have all your different branches. As you go into a branch site, that branch site is then going to break down all your agents. As you break down an agent, they have their own individual website, their own quoting system, the CRM, all the integration. This is one theme that dynamically changes across what local market and what user it's associated to. This is extremely powerful because this company will pay a lot of money for this. So will other companies. So would you yourself, if you're a company that has this, you now have this in the platform available to you to build out. Our team can help you with that. We're experts in that. So it's a long-winded way of saying, or an explanation of what the NearMe technology is. So I will move on to the tech. One other thing about just this service in general, you can, as an agency, we have wholesale rates. We do this as your brand. This is now your service. This is my point here. This is not something that you could just sell and understand everything about it. You need our team to help you sell that. That's why Ligna is not readily available when you search my name or search my brother's name or anybody in my family or any of our salespeople that's associated with Ligna, because of the fact that we are an extension of your sales team. try to help you sell this, because the wholesale rates and what you're going to sell it for, we win tremendously on a platform like this. So if you have any idea or customers that would fit in this mold and you need somebody to have 100% close rate when you put me on the phone for something like this. So tech, I hope I covered a lot of the questions that are most asked. I know there's integration strategy. We're integrating to platforms all day long from here on out. Zapier is a big one for us, right? Obviously, we have an API and we have webhooks that you can connect to. You just can't build them in the UI yet. If you need help with our data forms to redirect them to a post URL or just submit into another system, we can help you. That's really, really easy. It's just not set up for you as a user to come in here and just, what you're used to. Just, hey, I need to connect this app, and all of a sudden my leads are going into HubSpot or my leads are going to whatever. That's coming. I promise you that. Everything is focused on building each module here, very specifically growing each functionality based on what our customers say and want, and then adding these integration layers so we can really be truly connected to all these other platforms that you have. Now, a lot of people ask, well, this is supposed to be an all-in-one system. Why am I out here paying for other subscriptions on other things? We do have e-commerce, mobile app, and several other components that are going to help. We have no interest in competing with Zoom. I know some have asked that. We're not going to try to bring in meetings or video conferencing and things like that. We will have some conferencing tools for three-way calling for our phone system. We have live transfer and conferencing coming out. If not, the transfer functionality to your agents is going live in our next release next week, and then the conferencing is to follow that. But that's where we're going to fall short as far as how we do video, going to video and that aspect of it. We're more interested in how can we leverage voice to sync to your current business processes. For instance, one of our customers, and this, I didn't even think about it, but it's so easy to do because of the framework that we have. They wanted a widget that puts on their website that knows what rep is logged in and connected to what VoIP line based on their availability. And then when you click the call, it's going to that rep because they're available. And then if you have multiple reps that are available at the same time, it round robins. I would have never thought that up. That's a customer who gave us that. And because of that, he's going to have that in his platform and everyone else. So that's the concept. That's the vision of the entire platform. So I'll leave it there and really just kind of go through here, and I'll circle back and open it up for questions for everybody else. So this is the platform. I mentioned Workspaces. This right here, you can build as many workspaces as you want. You can create, if you're going to create workspaces for your clients, you can create them within here. They don't have access to a user role, but you can create, they can't log in, but you can create as many workspaces as you want and organize here. Again, the concept for Workspaces is I have all this stuff over here that I'm building out, from websites to blogs to landing pages to lead lists and all different types of things for leads. I want to organize it better. You can assign everything to a workspace and then switch between workspaces or look in aggregate for it. Several different dashboards, sales dashboard, projects dashboard. We also have a ticketing dashboard coming out, the ticketing system. What's cool about the support side of it is we're integrated to you in a way that when your user submits a ticket, they're submitting it to you, and then you have an option of flipping it up to us, but you never lose the visibility of that, right? So we can support your clients behind the scenes. They never know who we exist for anything that's associated with the platform or any of the white label services that we provide. But you can use the ticketing system for your own usage, for your users to submit tickets to you. So that's all built in. So it is an integrated layer between us and you and your client. So that's in there. So we will have a ticketing dashboard coming as well. All the marketing automation, typically where I start my demos is on the lead side, because there's a lot built into our platform on a CRM component, because this originates everything. You can create data forms. So data forms within our platform are essentially lists. So as you create a data form, this data form is what's driving everything on a lead level. So when you import a lead, when you add a lead manually, when you create a data form for your external website, or you create a data form for our internal websites, how that lead is generated is tied to a data form. That data form can be tied to a workspace, so they automatically go into your workspace. But that entry point, if you import leads, you want to associate them with the data form, so they go in. Your automation cadence that you set up is going to be tied to the data form, right? So all the drip marketing that you do, your email campaigns and SMS broadcasts and your voicemail drops, all tied to a data form. However, once they come into the system in the leads view, you can then query different factors to filter out from all of that to come up with your own dedicated list to do a voicemail drop or a SMS or email. So there's tons of filtering stuff in here. I stress when you buy this product, we do a piss poor job of onboarding you automatically. We're getting better, and that feedback has come. We have a whole knowledge base center that you come into that has tons of videos in, which, by the way, you can create your own knowledge base center in here yourself with your own content, segment roles and things like that. I am growing this as we speak. I'm doing the onboarding training that I did this morning with the current customers. I'm redoing that because I threw up on them and talked too much. So I'm going to do it more simplified today. So when you sign up, you'll have an actual onboarding step-by-step process. But we do have a guide, and this guide, and tons of videos, by the way, will link you to all the videos that you need. Text-driven, I apologize, but we needed something back here because there's just so much. That's going to get better. It's going to get better with what you contribute to or tell us, your struggles. That's defining, and I'm so thankful that we're going through this experience right now because we know exactly what the onboarding should look like, and we're going to nail it this weekend. So just want to stress that. But when you come in, it's here, go through it. These are the most important things to set up everything. Just go through it, watch the videos from that component of it. And now I lost where I was at. Data forms. So I talked about the data forms and how they come in. Data pixels. This is super powerful on how you decide to use your pixels. So pixels are ways that you integrate Ligna for your users, or whatever you end up calling it, that don't want their website in our platform and don't want data forms installed on their website. You can add this pixel onto any website, any lead form that they have built, their contact form, their sales funnel forms, doesn't matter. If this pixel's on it, it's going to scrape that data from there and automatically come into their CRM. Why that's helpful is if you're going to go to Keller Williams and try to sell them a marketing automation platform that has sales functionality, and the only way this system is going to work is if they brought all their agents into this platform, they're going to tell you to go pound sand. There's no way they're going to migrate over to here. However, they can install this pixel, and now they can provide CRM to every single one of their agents. There's just so much that you can do with these pixels. It's really the resistance of, hey, I got to migrate to your system. No, throw this pixel on their website. This will power the dashboards, all the tracking. This part of the pixel will control the data entry, and then you can split them up if you're going to use external forms and things like that. And I have a video explaining on that. So data pixels is how you connect and get all the data into the platform. How you use that, how you integrate that, that's completely up to you. Apps, email, I won't cover too much of that, but on the SMTP, you have several different options of creating unlimited types of SMTP relays, internal relays, personal SMTP, assign them to a workspace. And then every time you send an email and create an email or whatever, you can select that and use that as your email that goes out. Apps, this is the part that we're going a lot further on the integration. Obviously, Instagram coming out, we're already approved, already fully functional. That's a native Instagram integration. Zoom is real close. Google My Business, approval process for Google is a nightmare. And one thing I do have to say, this was definitely a question that was brought up and is brought up several times. Samsol is our development company that's a non-branded approach to all of our integrations. So if you go out there and use our tool, or your users use a tool, they don't see Ligna. They see this non-branded entity. You can use that entity however you like. Oh, that's my development firm that does our connections, whatever. All the names of the integrations are very generic. And the point of that is you have to go through a strict review process in a lot of these companies to get approval to do integrations with them. And we're truly trying to protect your brand with that. So being that said, the last 6 months, we've been doing massive amount of integrations and approval process, including Google, Zoom, Zapier, and others. Babbel, I didn't even heard of that company. And I don't even know if I said that correctly, but that company is on our radar now because of this community, obviously. So this is going to grow, this integration section. But there's a section for email and there's a section for apps. So it's separated, just so you know. Let me jump into the lead side of things and just kind of show you some of the cool functionality that we don't do a good job of explaining. Tons of filters. So as you come in from data forms, as I mentioned, is what really drives all your automation and things like that that you want to segment. But if you want to segment further and do your own kind of campaigns and things like that, inside the platform, if you had a bunch of leads from all these different sources, you can select all your leads and do bulk actions. Actually, let me start with the filter side of it. So when you create a filter, and by the way, this UI for the filter system is coming to be a little bit better based on the feedback, but the usage behind it and the functionality is extremely powerful. So imagine you have tons of different data forms, you have tons of different cadences that are going on, ton of different lead. By the way, you can create as many custom lead statuses as you want and custom fields for your leads and accounts. Lead folders are essentially your usage of what you want to organize your leads for. So back in the day, we used to have voice broadcasts. It sent you, if you called back, we called that the boneyard. You may be associated with a boneyard where we, have called you several times, left voicemails, those types of things. You never call us back. We're going to throw you in the boneyard. I personally, as a salesperson, create a folder called the boneyard, assign my leads to it. And then when I run out of leads, I need something to work on, I can go into the boneyard and revive them. Or maybe I want to send a one-off email to all of them and I can select a folder or whatever. So I haven't set one up here in this demo account, but you can create as many lead folders. Call queues are the ability to add leads to a call queue and go through those leads very fast and quickly. And they get removed from the call queue soon. And I'll show you in just a second, as soon as you update the disposition of that lead. Pixels, right? So you have a bunch of pixels installed out there on different websites. As a lead comes in from that pixel, you can filter by that lead. And this is a big component. I know this has come up in the questions about triggers and if this automation steps and things like that. Today, right now, our cadences are built in sequences. So this lead came into this data form. I want them to get this SMS. I want them to get this voicemail drop. I want them to be, or him or her is going to receive, this email or this voicemail drop based on time. So it's a vertical sequence of events. We have logic base for if they said yes to this lead form question, if they open this email, if they click this link, if they, all that's coming very, very soon. That's in our next big release. That this will all be filled up with all that activity. So it's not just the automation cadences that you're going to be able to pick the individual sequence rule, but you'll also be able to filter. So if I want to come in and filter, so right now it's just received email, but this will grow. And labels or list refs, what I'll show you in just a minute, but labels are essentially, I don't want to have to build a data form for every lead up. I may just have one data form for webinar attendees, and I want to load it to the same list, but label it in showed up and label it didn't show up. I don't have to create multiple data forms to create that one data form, and then I can add a label to it, and then I can filter between people who showed up to the webinar, people who didn't show up to the webinar really, really quickly. Also, the status for calls only. So one thing in our automation cadence, people ask is like, what is this call stage? Call stage is not ringless voicemail stage. That's where it leaves a ringless voicemail. Call stage is used, for instance, if I want to make my salespeople extremely efficient, I don't want them calling anybody who hasn't received, or if I want to have a very strict flow of what I want to happen for a lead that's in the system, such as they need to receive an email first, a voicemail from me before we even have a rep waste their time calling that lead. You put it in call stage for that stage, and maybe you have 3 emails and a voicemail that goes after that call stage, but that lead will stay in call stage until that rep calls and changes the disposition to something other than meaningful dialogue. Meaningful dialogue will pull them out of the cadence. Anything else will start triggering the automation after that. And so that call only stage is really cool because I can come in as a rep and say, well, today I want to only see the people that are in call only stage. I want to go ahead and create a real quick little queue. So I'll come in here and create a queue. This queue allows me to, actually, I already have a queue set up in this account. I can hit test queue. What this does is I can add unlimited leads to this test queue. What happens is this little guy follows you around everywhere you go, and you can have as many call queues as you like. And so you'll be all the lists in order of in and order of out of who you need to call. And so after I've done all my filters, I have exactly who I need to call today. I'm going to add them to my call queue. I'm going to come into my call queue. And then at this point, I'm going to flip between all my contacts here. But before I do, I'm going to update my status. And so when I update my status over here, now I'm immediately removed from my call queue within this platform. I'm no longer in the queue. And so I can be, if I have 75 calls, I'm going to go through each one, update my status. And then all of a sudden I'm done with my call queue. I go back and make my filter. Just an extremely efficient way for calling for different brands, different solutions, different services, different queries. You don't have to keep coming back to your lead view and be like, oh, where did I leave off or whatever. I can build out my call queues, make my phone calls, make my disposition changes, go back to my next queries. We also change the statuses or track the statuses that happen in the platform. This is very powerful if you're going to add collab users to your leads. Usage behind collab users is basically you have, I'll give you an example, a lead gen company, right? I'm generating leads for my client. I need to transfer that lead to my customer. A lot of problems in lead gen companies, once you transfer a lead to your partner, you lose visibility of what they're doing. Do they make any phone calls? Do they follow up with this person? Especially if you have incentive for closed leads, right? Adding collab users essentially allows you to, so when you add a collab user, if you had user set up here, you select your user. That sends a notification to the user that you now have a new lead in your system. You go into your system, they work the lead as that user. So when they're placing phone calls, when they're making email, sending text messages, sending emails, following up, this timeline shows their name, not your name. That's useful if you have inside sales and outside sales. So I'm an inside sales rep and I've generated a lead. I'm going to flip it out to my outside salesperson, or the reverse. I'm an outside salesperson. I may have my closer inside. So I'm going to have my own profile page, my own personalization, my own lead forms. I'm out there door to door putting their information into the platform. And then I'm going to set an appointment for this lead. Well, then I'm going to add a collab user for my inside sales guy who's the closer, or reverse, and they're going to have access to that lead. But me as a person who generated that lead, I can see everything that's going on and still see the history of that and follow up from opportunities that are being generated to, I should say, proposals, everything, right? So everything that you do on a lead standpoint, if you collaborate with somebody, you have the option of you have everything. You have full visibility on what they're doing with that actual lead. And that's helpful, right? Because obviously you don't want to lose that visibility, especially if you're a lead gen company and getting paid per lead or on the back end. So tons of stuff back here on a CRM level. One thing I do say is there accounts? How many accounts can you create? The way our structure is built is you can add unlimited leads and unlimited accounts. You can sync leads to accounts and then you have tons of leads here. So what's cool about that is you can go into any lead in any account and always access the account layer, including all the different tasks associated or different leads that are associated with that account, and go through that. So it's a full robust CRM. You can do one-off text message directly through here, email, pick templates out, personalized templates with signatures, again, create it at the top level and have roles. And then now your users have access to it, assign different workspaces. So it's not, jumbled all into one. The phone system, this is two-way phone system. So I can place a phone call here. It's all through browser. So you whatever headset that you're using works through here. You receive calls through here. You can switch between, you can have as many numbers as you like. So creating numbers in our system is fun, especially if the number is available. If you're in the US and a number is not available, we virtually can get a number for you within, as soon as you submit it and someone does it. If you're in Canada, UK, or Australia, we have SMS voice capabilities in all of those countries that I mentioned, and we're aggressively trying to get the system ready to where I talked about this, and let me just go back for a second. I apologize. I meant to show you on this. When you're inside a lead and you place a phone call, your only limitations, if you're someone outside of the US at this moment, in one of those countries that we can get numbers for that have SMS capabilities, voice is a much more expandable as far as the countries, but SMS it's unique. This option right here, click the call, it prepends the country code for the US, and it formats your number for you, removes the dashes and spaces and everything else for you. That's US focused, right? So we need to change that. But you, as somebody who's not in the US, just remove the one, boom, and make your phone call. Not ideal, but if you want to play around with the system before we get that fixed, and I promise we'll have that done before that Sumo deal is done. So if you're in one of those countries, Canada, Australia, or the UK, we will have that done before this deal to where it doesn't put that one there. but you can always remove it. And of course, when you make the dial up here, this wouldn't show the lead. You can type in whatever you want, but you can't have spaces dash and you got to put your country code in. US numbers do call international. Depending on the service, when you text message international, you'll get an error. You may not get an error. Just depends on the number you're texting, but you can make international calls directly through this browser with the US number, and vice versa. If you have a UK number, you can call the US. So there is international capabilities within. So to set up a phone line, I do like showing this because most don't understand how much flexibility you have when you're marketing for a client or setting up your salespeople. When you create a voice line, you have 3 different options. You create a call forwarding line. A call forwarding line is essentially I put my number in that I want it forwarded to. Someone calls that number, forwards to whatever number you want, cell phone, landline, whatever, records that call, tracks that call. You would use that for your marketing efforts, Google My Business, ad campaigns, your website. That way you can segment all your different avenues or campaigns and know what calls are coming in. IVR technology, so this is going to allow you to press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, press 3 for whatever. You can forward that on to external numbers. You just have to set up a call forwarding line and connect it. But you can also have it transferred to any voice line within the system. We are coming out with IVR broadcast logic that allows you to broadcast an IVR message. So when they press 1 to connect with the live sales agent, it'll rotate through agents that are connected to that rule base. Also fire an email of choice, SMS of choice. So that's cool. That's going to be more expansion on the IVR technology. And then, of course, that widget that one of our customers recommended over the last 2 days that I absolutely love and definitely going to be part of what we do. Well, it is because we already started building it. Voice over IP side, again, this is browser-based calling, Zopier, Z-O-P-I-E-R. I use it every day. That's $1.99 a month, I believe. You can add any VoIP line to that. There's tons of different soft phones, but that one is just really awesome. And you can have multiple accounts. So you have multiple lines within here. You can switch, turn your cell phone into the VoIP line. However, if you add multiple lines here, let me just go ahead. Oh, Workspaces. So Workspaces, again, organization. I have tons of different lines. I only want my phone lines that are associated with that workspace. So if I'm calling, I use this example again on the insurance side, my whole pitch, everything, my phone lines, my voicemail, my messaging is all geared to that specific product or solution. I would assign it to that workspace, have a different voicemail, have a different phone line for a different workspace. So when I'm in that workspace, I'm only getting calls from that phone call, from that number, and not from others. And I know where I'm at within the platform. But for this, I'm just going to pick whatever. Again, this is going to happen for Australia, UK, and Canada. This is what we're working to make happen, where you don't have to order numbers through us. The only time you have to order numbers through us is if your area code doesn't show up here, or if you're one of those 3 countries. So once I created that VoIP line, the beauty of this is this line's ready to go. You can come in here and switch between these lines. So if I were to hit refresh here just to pull in the lines, I have 2 different lines. What's cool about this is like, oh, I want to place a phone call from this line. I'm now in this line. I'm making phone calls, receiving phone calls from this line, or I can come over here and switch back to my other line. Once you go into a phone system or the phone line itself, you have options to put in your own voicemail in here. Ringless voicemail drops. There's 2 uses to this. One, when you do your ringless voicemail campaigns, but also when you actually create, or I'm sorry, when you make a phone call and that person picks up and says, hey, this is Jeff, leave a message, beep. When you hear that beep, before it, you'll have a drop down of all your ringless voicemails. You just select whatever ringless voicemail that you want to leave. That drops the voicemail, hangs up the call, logs the phone tracker. You're on to the next lead. You don't have to leave any voicemail. It's there. It's boom. You're doing ringless voicemail drops. Same thing. What's cool about a ringless voicemail drops is not server to server, so you don't have all those restrictions. It's actually making a phone call and showing a missed phone call on that user's call. They just don't get the ring. So they look down, see a missed call, they call you back because they actually listen to your voicemail. Very powerful lead opposed to somebody who, you can leave 1,000 voicemails, you're going to get 20 people call back, but those are leads. Boom, those are awesome. You can broadcast those out. There's no limit on that, by the way. There's limit on SMS because it's just like you making phone calls on the system. What else we got in here for the phone? These are your settings that you use for the VoIP line, voicemail recording. We also have dynamic calling. So if you're going to call out there on a local level and your area code's different, get with support on that, by the way, just to make sure you're set up properly for that on the dynamic side of it. For the routing capabilities, when people call back that line, you can place out and your area code would change, right? That is powerful if you're calling, if you want to have a local number and pick up. Now, that's less as effective as it used to be because everyone knows it's like, oh, my number is the same as this, but I don't know who this is. It's actually, we found even more effective to have a different area code nowadays. That's changed. But anyway, so voice side of it, I mean, there's tons of stuff you can do with the voice to make yourself more effective, and then the lead side of it. Projects, I did want to show the opportunities. So opportunities, we are designing a view for accounts. Again, accounts are associated, leads are associated with accounts, and you can access the account within the lead. However, you may have different stages for your accounts. Like opportunities, you'll be able to come over here and drag your different presentations or different segments of where they're at in the opportunity. Projects works the same way. I won't go too much into this. I just explained to you some of the concepts around our projects. So when you create a project, there's really two different types of projects. There's a one-time project, and then there's an ongoing project. So when we do white label services for our agencies, every customer you bring in, we have two different projects. We have an ongoing project, which is the marketing build, and then we have our marketing service side of it. And then we have a website build or client build, which in that we're setting up your Google My Business and optimizing it. We're setting up your social profiles and optimizing. We're building you a website and writing all the content. There's a ton of different steps that are in that one-time project. However, inside an ongoing project, you're going to have, I need to do a blog post once a week. I need to publish to Google My Business twice a week. I need to do daily social posts. When you set ongoing, you then have an option of setting the frequency of each of those tasks, and they'll automatically regenerate over and over and over again, assign it to the right people, and automatically be set up. Another cool thing about our platforms, and I'll just go in here real quick. I apologize. One-time example. Well, here, how about we do ongoing example. I'll speed this up. I apologize. Start date, end date, or there is no end date. If I had clients built in here, I can select it to a client. Collab users, if I had a bunch of collab users. Client enablement, this is important. Again, we're a synergistic approach to your white label program, especially on digital white label. We are part of your team as client enablement. If I select client enablement, that's including us in a project. So you can include us as team members, and everything looks and breathes like it's your business to your agency. So again, why there's not LinkedIn for Ligna and things like that is to protect us, right? Because our names are on here, people, and we contribute to your activity with your clients. It's very important to us to protect your brand. Value, whatever you want to put in there, and then labels. Labels are great for just organizing everything. And then workspace, right? So you want to have different projects if you're going to create a project for a client. So it goes back to the code side of it. If you just bought one code, I got 5 user license. Well, I would use those licenses wisely, especially after this AppSumo deal, because if you look at the pricing, this is, I mean, I don't know, it's a really good deal. But if you do one code and you have 5 user license, but you have hundreds of clients, create a workspace for a client, assign that client to assign this project to that workspace. And once you create a project, you have the ability to add whatever tasks. So because we're an ongoing project, we have all these different options: daily, weekly, monthly. This is every Monday through Friday. This task is going to generate and assign it to whatever collab user and person you assign it to. Weekly, every Monday, first of the month, or just a traditional one-time project, select a user. So here we go. Here's our names in here, right? This is that point again that drilling, because it's been asked about 14,000 times of why there's not a business profile for Ligna. This is why. So you select us, you can assign us to your projects, and we'll help you out with them, right? So they're there. We're just an extension of your team plus all of your others. If you select client enablement as a collab user to the project, if you don't want to see our names in the system, just don't put us as collab users. And then select collab users, and then the types and everything else. I'll make this one easy and just jump on. So same thing, once you create a project task itself, you have several different options. Well, my demo account, it's not working for some reason. No, not showing up. Oh, I apologize. Anyways, so it shows up here. You have different elements you can drag and drop your progress with. You have all your different options of archiving and deleting and viewing. There's tons of different views, from list view to calendar view to just the list goes on. We're continuing to grow in this table view if you want, and then Kanban view. So there's a lot here, and then all your details and everything else. It's probably too much to go into that for each one for this demo, but it's a full-blown project management system. The idea is to have full transparency with your users or your clients or your internal staff. Obviously, all these project management systems are using, and we do not claim to be better than the major players out there, but we will be, right? And there's a lot of unique stuff that's going to come in here from your usage that you're going to have ideas that we're going to build into this. And the idea is from that user who's generated from a lead, having a very efficient system to manage that lead from the time they're a lead to their account to their client. And then once they become a client, being able to efficiently manage whatever you're doing for that client. So yes, this platform is designed for marketing agencies, but those marketing agencies have clients, and those clients are business owners. And those business owners are all the entrepreneurs and business owners that are asking us questions. You can use this entire system for your business the same way. You have internal projects. You may not have clients. You may have clients that could be used for the project management system as well. This has full-blown asset management. So all your assets can be loaded up into this platform. Access any individual files really, really quickly through here. Each of the projects, as you go into a project, you have individual project assets. Task level, you can create unlimited task, subtask within here and attach everything to every project, every task. So you're going to have a hierarchy of assets. There's courses that you can create back here on the system itself. This is going to expand really, really rapidly. We have several power users who understand courses more than we ever will. But as you create a course and come in here, this course is segmented based on roles. So there's if you only want those users who have access to this course, you set them to a role and start creating all your courses, assignments, or knowledge base pages. So as you create knowledge base pages, you're growing your library of content, but then you can assign that knowledge base page to a course that they don't have access to until they complete that course. And then it just shows up in the knowledge base center where they can search and do all that other stuff. And then also on assessments, you can create tests, do scores, whatever you want with descriptions. You load in your own code here, so you can manipulate the entire design of this stuff, put in whatever you want. It has the WYSIWYG in here. When you create tests, you have two different options for questions which are coming out, which is multiple choice and fill in the gap. As you go through, and then you decide which, different options, the question itself, yes or no. So it seems simple, but it's super powerful. And then the name and organize if it's on and things like that. So you can add as many questions as you want and multiple ones that are correct. So if you have multiple choice that are correct. So as you build out your assessments and then your total score, now that user who logs in sees their courses in their courses section, and then they have to complete their courses before they go on to the next course and next assessment and so forth. That's great for training internal reps. And that functionality we're aggressively building out. And as you use it, we love your ideas, and that'll happen. Same thing with the knowledge base center and everything else. On a private label standpoint, this is full-blown private labeling. So on your domain, we install not only the ability to approve your domain to send notifications and email and everything else. You can brand all the colors. You put in all your branding for like the opt-out language and for the invoicing and things like that. Various different logos for the piece of the system. Also, you can override, if you have a designer, CSS, you can override and manipulate this entire system. I've seen 2 back offices over the last 2 days that I honestly, I didn't even know it was our platform, other than the fact that they had the same tabs. Everything else was completely manipulated and designed and made unique. What's important about that, and back to what I originally said, and I'll cut this off because I'm 1 minute over. Differentiating yourself to your client and showing that you're investing in technology, it's an unmeasurable component to your MRR. And if you look like every other agency, you are every other agency, right? So being able to look different, how you decide how you or sell our NearMe technology or implement our NearMe technology is up to you. How you use our template system and our courses system and our knowledge base center and all the different functionality and tools back here, you can really do a lot of things with it. We are not that great at the content around that, and we're going to get really, really good with it, especially with your help. And we're dedicated to doing that every single day. But the more you can show your clients that you've invested in technology, and I apologize, I know a lot of my stuff trails onto agencies, but the more you can show them that you're investing in technology and centralizing how they access that technology, because your clients hate multiple logins for this report, multiple logins here, they hate it. Relieving them of that and putting them in a place where they have some tools that they absolutely will benefit from to manage their own business and their own internal stuff, creates an MRR that is very, very sticky. As a business owner, we are evolving, and as an entrepreneur, we're evolving these core areas of our technology extremely robust. That is my goal. Yes, there's better email marketing systems out there. Absolutely. There's better phone systems that are out there. There's better CMSs, no doubt. There's better every course builders. I mean, you name it, there's better stuff in there. But what we have started with and what we have created, I've taken everything that we've ever learned over the last 16 years and have built it with a purpose of all of it working together, right? So as this evolves, as you have your contributions to this tech, and you can make it your own, so you're not just this customer of this software, that's where it's going to be different. So I don't know how I do that online, and show that, but hopefully this video gets across. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for question and answer. I knew I was going to do that, and I apologize. So if you're still here, I'm going to go through the questions, and if you can go ahead and put any questions in that you have. Actually, I got to get better. Where's my thing over here? I'm sorry, let me stop sharing so I can get my regular screen. So all I'm seeing is chat for some odd reason. I don't know where the question's at. Ridiculous. Okay, so if you're in chat, I'll try to go through these. I apologize if you already asked the question. How about we be more efficient, because I already went over time. If you have a question, please start typing it in, and I'll go over the last one. So does the SMS and phone system function work in New Zealand? Get on chat with us. I'll look up some lines for you and look at that. Oh, geez, this is really fast. Will we be able to benefit from the knowledge or co-users, power users? I'm not sure what that means, but absolutely, it's built into the platform. Everyone gets access to that, so you can use that however you want. Can I port an existing? By the way, when you create a parent account, they get all the same functionality, so you can create as many of those as you want. Can you port an existing number? Yes, that's a straightforward process. As long as it's unlocked, we can port it over. There's a couple of approval processes that happen, but it's pretty straightforward. It could build full websites, an example of funnels, checkout pages, membership site. So I showed those funnels, and I apologize. I'll go back. I know I've seen this question several times. I posted several links in those questions. Get on chat. I'll give you a very specific list of stuff you can go through. Those funnels I showed you actually have e-commerce and stuff like that on the checkout. Can you tell us about the lead funnel creation, collecting email addresses via an opt-in form, and then how we follow up via an email sequence? Yeah, so on the email sequence side of it, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Apologize, I'm running out of time, but yeah, I kind of covered that. Hopefully that covered on the opt-in forms. And then on your email sequence, I should have gone on the Cadence Designer. You basically create, here, how about I just share real quick. This is recorded anyways. And if you dropped off, I can probably condense it. Okay, so on the Cadence side of it, you're gonna create a Cadence, sign it to a data form. Remember, the data form is what triggers everything. This is tied to a workspace too, right? Your data form's tied to a workspace. So when you create that Cadence, and you come into your Cadence, you have several different options to set up your sequences. So when you set up a sequence, you have an option for email, choose the right account, right? Pick your template, set your 0. This is that timing sequence that I talked about. Build in your email, 0 hours, subject line, all your tags, right? So all the personalization tags. So when you create a data form, my data form that I created was first name, last name, spelled exactly the way you created. I can personalize this whole email, use my signature. Also, when you create a single cadence and you assign it to a data form that's assigned to a role, your users can have that exact same cadence that pulls from their profile and the branding. So you're not having to create multiple cadence for every single user, or clone it and anything else like that. You build one, then they can take over it on a channel level and customize it if they like. And what's cool about that is that you continue to make updates and changes of all your sequence that happens on that. So you just create there. And then once you create your sequence, you can then, bring it over and then connect multiple sequences. So all your sequences here are either SMS, call, a call stage that I talked about before, and then voicemail. Let me go back to the chat window here. I'll just keep this sharing the screen just so we can go through. Is there a way to filter and clean the data before it scrapes and imports into the leads accounts? We clean it. So yes, we do. This is how we do it. We have a layer. Everyone calls it AI. It's AI, but it's just a bunch of logic and configurations to figure out. I mean, let's not beat around the bush of what AI really is, right? Especially on the software level. We're taking that data, analyzing it based on what happens to the data that's being inserted, and all the logic information that we built into that figures out what is phone, email, first name, last name, and inserts into your system. But then it takes all the other collection of that data and puts it in the data field area so you can see what was scraped and have access to it to update the leads and count. So it does a layer of cleaning, if that's what you're talking about. I'm from Canada. Can I get a Canadian phone number? No problem. Absolutely. If you want a specific city, not so much. Depends on the city. Montreal, there's been several that have bought big numbers of inventory, but we can get them though. We can get them very quickly. So yes, no problem there. And we have a lot available in Canada. Can you remove someone from a cadence if they click the link in the email? Not yet. You can remove them from the cadence on the call activity side. That if then logic, activity, and the language behind what the cadence does inside of that is coming rapidly for us. That's one of our next biggest release. This sequence is only designed for scheduling based on time in vertical, right? So that's coming though. And of course, since it's a lifetime subscription, no reason to leave what you have today if that's part of your business, but you will see that in the coming weeks of coming into this platform. If any other user of the platform knows CS and I don't, for example, can I ask their expertise, share templates, whether it be common library, marketplace? Ask us. Absolutely, I'm creating a Facebook group that people can share. I have pre-built CSS that will manipulate the whole back end. I have pre-built CSS that designs really cool looking data forms if you want to drop that on your website. We import a website for you, or funnel one for free. So go ahead and get us in. We'll get that all good. Now you have a template that you can use. So great question. Just because you don't know CSS, we can help. And then of course, I'm building this community of users to help each other kind of build a library if you want to use it. How will customers pay us to use the platform? So you can, in the roles section, when you create a role, you have a little, and I'll just cover this real quick. There's a lot of different ways you can make that flow. When you go into, where am I at? I'm sorry. User roles. What am I doing? So when you create a user role, you have all sorts of different roles that you can create. Inside your user role, you have various different settings. You can redirect them to an external payment link for them to pay. This is your onboarding link. So you can take this onboarding and build out as much onboarding questions you want. If I loaded a logo here for this demo, it would show up. You also can manipulate the CSS here and design this onboarding form however you want. But I can create unlimited captures, such as portal information, social media logins, your website logos, all that stuff. You can have all this collection that shows up in the profile, and you can create as many fields here. This role onboarding link you can send to anybody and they can onboard, and you can send them with any billing system. However, we in our lead system, you can create an opportunity. That opportunity then can go to a proposal. That proposal can then lead them to signing up for this role that then will take them through the Stripe integration. So as you go through our integrations, you have the option of integrating within Stripe, and then that'll cover that aspect of it. We are building e-commerce with subscriptions and products with our mobile app that's coming out in Q3, Q4. That's a big focus for us. I lost my place. I apologize. Okay. Is it possible to create something like Substack or Patreon, monetize the newsletter? I am not familiar with that. I will look that up. That's a good question. You should be able to monetize a newsletter at any moment in the system by collecting and then getting them into the newsletter. But I need to understand how that works. And that's a great thing for us to learn and see what could be used there. Why AppSumo? Are you currently generating enough MRR? So again, AppSumo was approached. We were approached by AppSumo. AppSumo was something I've always wanted to be on. The community has grown. I've been I've known that. I mean, they're here in Austin, right? So are we. So AppSumo is something that I've always loved, and it's one of those things that if you can get your app on, the select program for AppSumo, the branding, the marketing, everything that comes after the user base is paramount to us. For us, our MRR is built into our agency's growth, right? So we're so integrated with the marketing agencies. We have white label digital marketing service, like I mentioned earlier in this call. We have so many unique solutions that we embed into massive distribution channels that allow us to commingle with our technology. Huge franchises and huge distribution channels can't afford CRM for every single user. It's ridiculous, and the ones that do are very limited. So there's a whole different play there for us. Taking Ligna as a platform that you can just come in and set up yourself and onboard everything and go through that process. Once I got to a stage that I felt that we were there, I always wanted AppSumo recognition. And always it was something personal for us. And the fallout from that, or at least, the aftermath of AppSumo is something that we can't wait for, right? And how we grow that distribution network and what we can learn from you is what we're really interested in. So that's why AppSumo. MRR to us is totally different than a traditional software company. Any kind of internal live chat support, yes. However, chat has never been something that wanted to be on our radar, just simply because that's something that was just evolved so quickly, and the players that are out there do so many great things to be efficient with chat and support and things like that. That's a big undertaking for us. However, we do plan on having internal community-focused, user-focused chat within here. Right now you have comment-based, so you're creating a comment, you get a notification, you get an email for it. That layer is more of documenting, hey, I actually did something, or I have a question, opposed to like a Slack channel where you're constantly messaging each other. We do have plans of integrating that type of workflow there. But again, integrations with Slack, integrations with other tools like that is probably more realistic. And then just having that more of instant availability communication with your teammates inside the platform is definitely on our radar for sure. To create a role, do I need to have a white label? No, you only need to have one code to create a user and a user role. So it's nothing is relying on you being white label. One code, you can white label system. So you don't have to white label the system at all. You can just use as is. We have business owners who want their staff to see their logo, their brand color, the messaging, create all the, everything fluid with their brand. You can do that, or you can't. You can use Ligna however you like. How many users can we have on the membership course? You can have as many as you want. It's unlimited. There's no limit to it. Good question, Sam, about our white label agency service. If you go to ligna.io and click on the services side and kind of read through that, there's 3 core packages for our white label. Those are the most effective small business campaigns that I know will generate the maximum amount of return for the cheapest amount that you can possibly provide. That combination of services is so powerful, especially with the NearMe technology and how we deliver it. We're building full-blown high-quality websites with all the content with no setup fee. Our agencies take that package and they resell it, $500, $1,000 setup, $750 a month, $1,250 a month, all day long. We're at $150 a month, $250, and $375 that combines paid ads as well with a flat fee. So those packages, I would say 90, 95% of our agencies sell them as is. Then our other agencies, or even some of those agencies, create custom packages and use our team to augment their services. And we give you a wholesale rate and you charge whatever you want, and we deliver the services. The best thing about all of this, we do it all in your back office, in your platform. So we're an extension of your team. So you see everything we're doing. I mean, if we miss a blog post, everyone sees it. You see it, we see it, your client sees it. That's a scary place to be. So the full transparency is what's important. That's why we're different than any other white label provider out there. Plus our pricing, our expertise and experience, and what I know works and what our team knows works, and what you know works combined together is just a really sexy product. How many users can we have for the membership course? Good question, because I just backtracked on what I said. If you have the unlimited license, you can have as many users as you want. Users for our platform is segmented by logins. So you can't create logins without having the right limits. So if you want 6 logins, whether you're using just the membership or just the website or just the CRM, those are counted as users. So you'd have to have the unlimited amount to access that. So I think I covered every question. I'm just going to scroll up, and if I see one more, we're obviously way over, and I apologize for that. So I do not see. Okay, I'll go through these chat messages, and one last one. Do you have anything related to GMB like integration? Yes, Google is the lengthiest approval process that I've done so far, and especially Google My Business and the layers of protecting your agency brand and our from us finding about us. There's some steps to get involved in that, but Google My Business is on the roadmap. March, early mid-April is when Google My Business will come in. And so that integration of posting and everything that you have in the platform, it's going to be a game changer. As soon as Instagram comes out, we got LinkedIn, we got Twitter, we got Facebook, you have Google My Business, you tie that to your distribution channels and like businesses, and now you can mass market through there. There's a lot of stuff that's in that. Do you sign HIPAA, BAAs? I need to understand more about it. We do have HIPAA compliance, personal information setting that you can put on for personalized information like social security number. All of our data is encrypted, by the way. So on a compliance level, it meets all of HIPAA compliance for the data storage of that. But you as a user seeing that data, there's HIPAA compliance that comes with that. And there's some settings we can apply because we do have agencies that sell to dentists and healthcare clinics and things like that need that layer of protection that we can configure for you. Ligna comes with its own SMTP. As I showed earlier in the video, you can set up as many types of SMTP servers. Out of the gate, your SMTP, if you just want to test the platform out without your domain associated with it, we do have on behalf of domains like emailsecure.live and several other ones that you can send from. I obviously recommend that you get your domain approved through our system, create a ticket. We'll go ahead and get the DKIM keys installed for you on your DNS, or you can do it yourself. Once you get approved, then you can use that domain for all of your email marketing capabilities. You can hook in your personal email and things like that. And does Ligna integrate running ads? No, but it does integrate with how you track those ads from an ad group all the way down from all the UTM parameters and then reports on that. We do have a reporting dashboard that's going to come out for the ads only. That's for Facebook and Google ads. And that dashboard is on our roadmap. Another thing about our roadmap, that roadmap was something I put together as quickly as I could at the last minute, because our internal roadmap that we use for our team, I was trying to figure out a way that I could publish and also hide all of our comments from the PM system to the public before the AppSumo release. Couldn't do it. So I went out to Trello and started putting stuff in. This weekend, I'm putting everything in, not only that's in our project system, but the stuff that came from customers in there. And so a lot of that stuff, you'll see what's coming. So as you start making the decision of whether I want to buy this deal or not, based on feature functionality, it's going to come out over the next year. That will be there, I promise. Email warm up. You can warm up emails. The best way that I ever warmed up emails is actually take that audience, throw it on Facebook, run an ad campaign to it. 2 weeks later, launch an email campaign to it. They feel like they've already kind of went through the flow with you, your brand and everything else. So yeah, definitely. Do you have any sites that have tested with ADA compliant? That's one thing about our CMS, right? Our CMS is a shell. You're the designer. If you have templates that are used in our platform that you want ADA compliant, we can do that for you and make it. You also, as the designer of the platform, have access to the code level to make that happen. That's not, again, this is not a beginner talker or someone who doesn't have the ability to build websites. This would either be a question to us to make it ADA compliant or your designer to make it ADA compliant. But the way our platform is, you have full access to the code. So you can easily add the ADA stuff that's needed for the disabilities, such as, all the buttons and things like that that you need to set up. Is the onboarding tour, which is on your platform when we first log in, a feature we can use? Absolutely. So the tour guide, no, but yes. The way that's built is built with an admin user and everything else. We are building out the tour guide for every single view. And then there's actually going to be an option in your branding section to build out your own tour guide. So yes, not yet. I misunderstood what you said, but I love that. Does that mean you can use your own JavaScript framework like Vue.js? You can import whatever you want. Now, the thing with Vue.js and the way it's deployed, you're not deploying the actual framework, the entire deployment of that framework. Get with my dev team and we'll show you exactly how you can make that happen with Vue.js. By the way, I love that you said Vue.js. Our mobile app is going to be built on the framework of Vue.js, by the way. I absolutely love that platform. So that's what our entire mobile app in Q3 and everything's coming out. So I'm going to cut it off. I apologize. It's probably the longest Q&A session, and hopefully everyone who has come to our page watches this video and at least answer any questions. If you need anything, ask some questions there, jump on chat. I'm going to try to be as much as available as I can to make sure you have a smooth onboarding process. I know it gets overwhelming, and obviously you get back there and you're like, screw this, I'm out. I understand that. We're making that a lot better for as far as your onboarding flow. But we're starting to get really good reviews. We got a high percentage of users who get back there and believe in it. And so I hope that you feel the same way. And I just really appreciate this opportunity of bringing you guys into this platform. And I love your feedback. If you become a user and you get in there, I wish that you would write a review, good or bad. We're only going to get better by you guys. So I appreciate you very much. Thank you. You have a great rest of your weekend.